Well, I know of a man that you describe.
Was he nice or was he not nice?
He was very nice, very dashing. Told you about him before.
What? What if it's my dad, you guys?
Well, good evening, stream. What's up, Jagtress? How you doing? How you been? Things going okay? Ugh. I missed you too. I missed streaming. I tell you what. Work has been light recently at the gallery. And so I was like, hey, do you mind if I take a week off to just try and finish my book? And they were like, go for it, man. Yeah, absolutely. Go nuts. So I've been off this week, and I've just been working on books. I had one thing to wrap up on the Chronicles of Underrealm audiobook, which I was working on Monday and Tuesday. And then today has just been streaming Quest. And this week has been the best week I've had in years. I'm so happy. And I have to go back to work. I have to actually pop into the gallery tomorrow for an hour or two to do one thing real quick. But this week has just it's definitely given me something to shoot for. It's like, hey man, you got to get back to this, because this is where this is my happy place. Oh no. I'm sorry you missed the morning stream, Jagtress. We did a lot. It was very cool. And then people can murder it. Hey, Nick, sorry I didn't see you come in. Okay, where were we? Excuse me. Oh, it's good, right? Get in, loser. We're making chimmy fucking chongas. Hey, what's up, miracles and monsters? One of your books spoiled part of a movie for me? I need the story, and I need it immediately. I need to know what happened. What is wrong with my hair? What is... Much better. This is great. I've made a good decision. Danny. I'm aware of Flip. I'm aware of my character, Philip of the family Drayden, who goes by Flip. Yes, I'm aware of him. There's a character named Flip in the movie Slumberland. Okay, I've never seen Slumberland, but carry on. At least now I know this was an unintentional spoil. Okay. Hey, Nova. We are breaking down the rest of Act 2B. A classic way of looking at the 3-act structure is that it's actually a 4-act structure. Act 1, Act 2, and Act 3, but Act 2 is usually supposed to be about twice as big as Act 1 or Act 3, so it's very convenient to break Act 2 up into 2 acts, with the first half of Act 2 ending at the midpoint, and then the second half of Act 2 being where shit starts to get real. So this is my breakdown for Act 2, and we have written first draft up to here. This is the exact chapter we're in the middle of writing. Each of these blocks is a chapter. So I did a breakdown of this episode into 4 chapters of about 2,500 each, and then we're about to break down episode 16. Danny, the amount of time I've spent trying to figure out a way to move you to Oregon to help me. It's not honestly that much time, but it's a non-zero number. I talk about you with Crystal all the time, and she's like, Garrett, why don't you just do it? And I'm like, because I can't. And she's like, well, don't let that stop you. Yeah, we do, Jagtress. Totally. Totally schmodally. It would work better in person, and it would work better if I had the kind of money to be paying people, because that is a necessary part of that whole arrangement. Granted, lots of people go out there and they make it happen without the money to pay people. And unfortunately, they manage to do quite well at it. Quite well for them, not necessarily for the people they hire, but that's, not something that crosses their mind necessarily. That would be amazing, Danny. I'm leaving a spot open at my D&D table for you, just in case. Well, unfortunately, because I cannot do virtual play, you have to be within arm's reach as the first requirement. I've tried it a bunch of times, Jagtress, and it's completely not a fun thing for me. It just doesn't work. I don't fully know why, but anytime I've tried to play over Discord or Zoom or whatever, it's more stressful than anything. It feels very uncomfortable. I don't interact well. I don't do well on video calls, if I'm being honest. Um, so yeah, I tried it a bunch with a few different groups, and it just never worked. So I just gave up. Oh no, we're gonna make it happen, Nix. One day, we'll be in the same place at the same time, and I mean, if I do ever get to come out and visit the UK like I've been wanting to, I am 100% gonna let everybody possible know, even like the slightly more distant UK people like Nova Carmen, uh, and just be like, if you can make it to the UK, or wherever I go, I will fucking run a one shot, and I don't care how many people make it to that table. I will run a 12-person game. God damn it! Oh, that's awesome, Miracles. Oh, that's so cool. We're coming to the end of our home campaign that I play on Thursdays, and we're preparing for the next one. And we're going to be switching over to Pathfinder from D&D because fuck the Pinkertons. Um, and we're like doing a bunch of Pathfinder test games when we can like squeeze in an extra one shot here and there. And I'm really fucking excited. It's a very good system. Fuck the Pinkertons. Oh, nice, Miracles. I'm honestly just kind of all about the epic fantasy TTRPGs. Like, I want to be fucking big damn heroes. I want to live in, fucking Lord of the Rings and all that. But in my favorite campaign that I play in right now, we're near the end of that one as well, and the DM said that he wants to run a cyberpunk campaign next, so it looks like I'm being thrust into sci-fi, and I'm pretty stoked about it because it means that I get to play Iron Man. Yeah, I hear that, Danny. Yeah, that's, oh, man. I mean, yeah, I have also, yeah, yeah. I spend a non-zero amount of time wishing that I had just enough more going with legacy books that I could start hiring people who are sick of working for shitty companies who are all money and profit driven and have no greater purpose in the universe. Miracles. I am working at a gallery, um, and it's great. It's a great job. Um, I mentioned at the top of the stream that work there has been very light recently because I frame all of her paintings, I stretch all of her original canvases, and then I print and ship all of her canvas, like her reproductions, right? So she'll do reproductions of her paintings on canvas, which will then stretch and frame and ship to customers and everything like that. So I handle all of that, and I run a workshop where I have two people who work under me, and that's what we do. but work has been very, very light, and this week, it was light enough that I was like, hey, can I take this week off to go finish my book? And they were like, yeah, sure, go for it. Yeah, that sounds great. So that's why I'm here and why I was streaming most of today. But yeah, I do still work at that gallery. I'm fucking trying. You can read the first 49 chapters on my Patreon if that's worth anything. Oh, geez. That's a fantastic question, Nova. I mean, they're averaging at about 2,500 words a chapter, about, roughly. So what is that? That's about 122,000 words. So that's like 1.5 regular Underrealm books. Oh, that sucks, Miracles. Miracles. I don't know if you've heard of it or experienced it yet, but the book is actually currently like published, coming out on Yonder. Yonder is an ebook app. It's new. It's made by the people who made Webtoon and shit. What's the other one? It's late. I'm tired. Webtoon and Wattpad. So they launched an ebook reading site that's all exclusively for like serialized stories. Yeah, if you check out Yonder, you can just buy Quest there, and then I get money for that. So it's all there as well if you can't access it on Patreon. But they basically, what they do is they release like 2 or 3 chapters a week. So I actually should look. I don't even know what chapter they're up to right now on Quest, but it's coming out there periodically 2 or 3 times a week. Trying to remember if UA learned the trick for beating a weremage. Sometimes I write things down and I'm like, Alex specifically is going to murder me. Oh, thanks, Nix. Appreciate the info. That's a good question, Miracles. Kind of. So, real quick. You see that bookshelf right there? That's all me. The top left shelf here, that's all me, okay? Now, all of this is exclusively published by Legacy. It's available on all of the various book websites. So you can get it on Amazon, Kobo, Barnes & Noble, wherever. But it's fully and exclusively owned by me. You can buy the print books off of my website, etc., etc. Quest is the first time that I've published with somebody else on an exclusivity deal. So, excuse me. What that means is that the ebook is only available on Yonder. You can only read the ebook on Yonder for a certain time period. At some point, I will be able to publish it on other platforms, and you'll be able to get it on Amazon. But for a certain time period, they have the exclusive ebook rights. So if you want ebook, it's only on Yonder. It's only going to be on Yonder for the foreseeable future. The print books are still, the print rights are still owned by me. Audio rights are still owned by me. All other rights are still owned by me. So once the whole book is fully done, you will be able to get print books through my website, but not ebooks. Ebooks are only going to be available for Yonder. So yes, I only publish through Legacy. Caveat, asterisk, footnote, piffle. Okay, that's a good chapter. We like this. Yeah, they're pretty brand new. I think they only launched in like January, February, something like that. Maybe December. I remember that when I signed the deal with them, they had not come out yet, and I was not allowed to talk about them. And I was not quite one of their launch titles, but I think it was in their like second wave of launch titles or something like that. And then they gave me a big fat front page promotion, so that for like a solid week or month or something like that, I don't know the exact details, but anyone who opened Yonder was immediately served an ad for Quest. So that felt pretty good. Oh man, this is it. Oh, fuck. Well, I guess I know. Let's see here. If this is episode 71, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 76, chapter 76 of this book. People are going to be sending me real angry emails about chapter 76. Oh boy. I'm going to have a real hard time with this episode, y'all. Every time I just even deal with this, I start getting all fucking verklempt. Good night, Nova. Thanks so much for stopping by. Oh, boy. All right, Danny, go to bed. Peace out, Bean Sprout. Oh, Chetney's got to say that line. That's such a Chetney fucking line. Oh, God, I used to have a command for this, Miracles, but yes is the simple answer? Yeah. I used to have a command for it, but basically the best way to buy my books is print from my website, underrealm.net. Oh, hell yeah, that would be awesome. I'd love to. I always want people to buy I always want people to buy the books from the best and most convenient place for them, because I want people to just enjoy their reading experience as much as possible. But if you're seriously like, I want to get them wherever is most helpful to you, most helpful, print book from my website. I love that email so much. I've heard from so many people just like that, Miracles. All right. So I signed up for your email list, and you send me an email saying that most people don't read books. And I was like, fuck you. And then I started reading your books. And I'm like, I love it when a plan comes together. Miracles, that is seriously the sweetest, nicest, most wonderful thing you could possibly tell me. Honestly, that means the world to me. I'm sorry, I'm emotional. This is going to be this is going to fuck me up real bad. This is going to be the worst. This is where all the angry emails are going to come from. Maya, how you doing? We're making ourselves sad with fake people that we made up in our heads. What are you doing? Hey, what's up, Courtney? Nice. Hope you're having a nice, relaxing evening.
What a dick.
Hey, thank you for the sub, Miracles and Monsters. Much appreciated. Well, Miracles, I don't know how many of the Underrealm books you've read, but whichever Underrealm books you happen to have read, the answer to who is the cast of this novel in progress is fucking all of them. This is where all of the storylines converge. So, this is the episode I'm in the middle of. Eben and Annis. This chapter is Eben and Annis. This is a Sylvan, Mag, Oris, and Flip team up. This is Albern and Yue. This is Lauren, Oris, and Flip. This is Albern and Yue again. This is Rogan. Okay, sorry. No, not Sun and Chow. I apologize. Not Sun and Chow. They are future. This is present. Sun and Chow are currently future Underrealm timeline. This is present Underrealm timeline. But I mean Chow, well, see the with Chow is like cuz like I don't know if you read all, yeah, so sometimes it's names from a hat. Sometimes it's very intentional. Especially, actually, I will say in this section of the book, it's mostly very intentional because we're towards the end of the book at this point. So I'm like, who hasn't worked together? What team up have we not had yet? And Mag and Sylvan have had this like clashing thing going on the whole book so far, which is fucking delicious. And so now I'm like, and now is the time where they work together. Like now is the time where both of them stand shoulder to shoulder on the same battlefield, and they're like, oh, this is very good. I know what you mean, Miracles. I honestly think, I'm not even joking about this. I think that on at least a couple of my books, my massive writer's block or periods of like no activity on the book whatsoever stem from exactly that. I know that on this book, I outlined a character death and then I did not touch the manuscript again for 3 months because I realized that that was going to happen. And all of a sudden, I just didn't touch the book for 3 months. And just for the record, it's that, which I'm not going to say out loud in case somebody wants to avoid spoilers and is listening to the stream. I don't want you to be spoiled, but it's right there. It's right there. I outlined that scene and then I did not touch Quest for 3 months. All right, Miracles. Thanks so much for coming and hanging out. Oh, that's badass. So one of the big conflicts in this book is the use of essentially fantasy weapons of mass destruction, magical artifacts that are of incredible power that can wreak tremendous carnage, and basically the, you know, certain powerful figures in Underrealm are intending to use these weapons against the bad guys. And all of the heroes of our story are like, that's fucking abhorrent. You can't do that. And they're like, we've got to fucking win the war. And so in this scene where, you know, slight spoilers, everything has gone totally to shit and the bad guys have stolen all of the artifacts. One of the heroes of the book is like, you know, turns to this powerful figure and is like, and would you look at that? They're using the artifacts that you were going to unleash upon them. And the figure looks back at them and is like, yeah, and they're winning. Which is like, it doesn't make them right, but it's a very badass line. Well, yeah, sure, but at what cost? But like, the thing is that the but at what I feel like the but at what cost argument is a little played out, and so now I'm trying to go with the angle of the people in charge have fully accepted the at what cost, like which I get it, honestly, I get it. It's like, no, at a terrible cost, at a terrible cost that I'm willing to pay. I'm kind of tired of people who are like, no, I'm going to do this terrible thing and it's all going to be fine. And somebody's like, but at what cost? And they're like, no, there's going to be no cost. Don't worry. I'll make it all happen. I'll make it all go right. I'm trying to wrestle with the people who are like, no, there will be a terrible cost. No, streets will flow with blood. Millions will die. And that is better than the alternative. And I want those to be the good guys, like the quasi good guys. And I want my heroes to be not okay with that, but I want them to, because their allies are okay with it, I want them to have to wrestle with that. I want them to have to actually engage with it, because I feel like too many times the stories are like, no, you did the bad thing that you should never have done, and you didn't know what cost you were going to pay for it. And then the person's like, oh, you're right, I could never have predicted it would all go this bad. I want the other people to be like, no, I knew it could go this bad. I knew it could go this bad. I chose to do it anyway. Because the alternative is worse. Yeah, exactly. The king is like, no, I knew that this was a possibility. And losing the war is worse. You know what I mean? Like, this is not shit. Well, it's not intentionally an allegory for like the nuke, right? But like, I don't feel like I've seen that narrative before. Where somebody was like, no, I knew exactly what I was unleashing on the world. And the alternative was, well, so it's not the same, obviously. Analogy sucks, right? But like, just as a comparative, it's like if the choice was using, I unequivocally believe, bold political statements at after midnight o'clock. I unequivocally believe that the use of nuclear weapons by the United States in World War II was an abhorrent war crime targeting civilians. Absolutely fucking just one of the grossest, horrible things that's been done in warfare in all of human history. But what if the choice was use the nuke or the Nazis win? That's much more difficult. The choice that was faced and that was made was not as difficult as use the nuke or the Nazis win. But what if you are facing that choice? And what if somebody's like, you can't bring nuclear weapons into the world, they're unequivocally going to make the world worse. And what if the other person is like, no, you know what's going to make the world worse is if the Nazis win. So we're going to use the nuke because if we don't, the Nazis win. That's a much more interesting problem. Like, the fucking evil of how nukes were actually used in World War II is just banal to me at this point. It's like there's no question there. There's nothing to wrestle with. That was just fucked. Like, it was just bad. It was just all bad. And so this one is sort of more like, what if you've got a nuke and you have to use it, otherwise the Nazis win? Which is really fucking interesting to me. Anyway, that's I'm getting all spinny on this, but that's kind of where we're at. I've been writing the whole fucking book for this scene. This is my favorite scene in this book. I haven't written it yet, but this is my favorite scene in this book. This has been in the works. This was one of the very first things I thought of in all of Underrealm. This scene right here, the top I'm at. This is the best one. This is everything to me. I will never beat this. I don't know what I could ever come up with that is going to be better than this, and I've been thinking about it for like 14. No, I've been thinking about this for 20 years. Anyway, I'm very excited about it. Next episode's going to be so good. Okay, we outlined another episode, or we did the cards, I should say. I need a quick break. Oh. What time is it? 12:15. I would love to get to the end of Act 2. If I can get to the end of Act 2, then we can just start fucking cranking on first draft tomorrow. We've got 8 chapters of first draft ready to go. But I don't think I'm in a first draft state of mind right now. Yeah. I'm going to take a quick break, and then I'm going to come back, and we're going to try... we're going to outline the next episode, episode 17. And if I'm still up for it, then we'll do 18. And then tomorrow, we can wake up. I got to go do one quick thing at the gallery, and then we can just fucking rock right on through. All right. I'm going to leave you with Autumn Orange. I'll be right back. Give me 10, 15 minutes. a dick.
Does anybody have a crush on me?
Chester, you know everyone does.
The traveler told me to have faith. I know that this is who you are. I'm going to have faith in you, Yasha. And I hope that the Storm Lord can bring you home and back to who you really want to be.
hug Yasha around the waist.
Thank you, Chester.
If you knew he was your dad, would you be proud of that? Happy?
I don't know, I was just kind of happy that I knew. You know, Mama seems so sure. But if he doesn't want me, then I don't want him. It's fine.
We've actually come for help and hopefully to have a conversation about
the fact that you're my dad.
Parent is a parent. Sometimes it's hard to write them off. Give it some time. I'm sorry that your father has not been a part of your life. He is the one who has missed out.
How is she? Marion.
So you do know her.
Once.
Did you love her?
Yeah. couldn't come back.
Why?
It wasn't until she told me about her feelings that I found myself lacking to meet the standards of such a vibrant creature as her. I was nothing. I had nothing. So I told myself I would find a fortune and come back. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Okay. We can do this. We can do this. This is easy. What is this? Nothing. Nothing. We got this. I fucking love writing. It's grueling. I've been saying it all day, but my brain feels like it's about to dribble out of my ears. But you know what? Whoa, 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 whoa. Hey, what's up, Ari? My brain is both tour and pired right now. Yeah, I'm doing the same outlining stuff I was doing on the last stream. And so essentially where I'm at right now, I'm trying a new thing that I've never done before, but I've broken the book down into acts, right? And so this, for example, is Act 2B, because Act 2 is usually twice as long as Act 1 and Act 3. And so this is the breakdown of the second half of Act 2. We are right here. This is where we've written up to. And so, but I was feeling very discombobulated, like I didn't know where the end of the book was going, and like I'd really lost track of like my structure. So I broke it down this way, where essentially this is episode 15, 16, 17, and 18, and then breaking into Act 3, episode 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, and 24. And then I'm taking each of these episodes and I'm putting together an episode breakdown for it. So this is episode 16, which is going to be 4 chapters of about 2,500 words each for a 10,000 word episode, which is what we go for. So then this is chapter 1, chapter 2, chapter 3, chapter 4. And what I'm going for tonight is I'm trying to get to the end of the episode breakdowns for Act 2B, because then, ideally, theoretically, tomorrow we can just finish the first draft of all of Act 2, and then I'll do similar episode breakdowns for the rest of Act 3, which is all the way to the end of the book, and then we've got a done book. And already this is helping me visualize it in my mind so much better, and it's helping me draw the right through lines that are going to pull each individual character's stories to the end of the book. No, it actually helps me to explain all this stuff out loud. The more that I think about it, the more time I spend just sort of analyzing it and getting it straight in my head, the easier it comes when I'm actually writing the first draft. Trust me, Ari, I do not stream because it hampers my productivity or the quality of my work. In fact, in fucking... Is it really? 13 years. No, that's not true. No. Okay. 9 years of streaming. 9 years of streaming. 13 years of writing. But 9 years of streaming. 13 years of writing professionally. I wrote like a shit ton before I actually started publishing and putting stuff out. But in 9 years of streaming, it has always and only consistently proven to be very helpful to my productivity and the quality of my work. So you got no worries about distracting. I always encourage you to write, Ari. If writing is a thing that you want to do, I strongly suggest it. Oh, man. It's always hard listening to Linkin Park these days. You're damn right, Courtney. Hold me accountable. Make me get my shit in order. It always makes me feel like I want to write. I never actually do, but boy, do I feel. It's all good, Courtney. If you get something down, great. If you don't, honestly, one of the most profound things that I heard, and I say profound very specifically because I don't know if it's true, relevant, applicable, or helpful. But one of the most profound things that I heard is that sometimes happiness consists merely of the contemplation of things we know we'll never do. I've spent a lot of my life contemplating things that I would love to do that I know are not going to happen. And it makes me very happy. That's totally fine. That's a perfectly valid way of achieving happiness, is just imagining a thing that would be so cool, even if you know it's not going to happen. That's fine. So Quest as a concept was the very first thing I thought of for Underrealm when I was 17. Now, when I started writing Quest when I was, again, 17, most of that story now exists in Life Mage Dawning. That was going to be the beginning of the story that was Quest. But it went through evolutions, and I realized I needed to write other stuff first, and I didn't have enough world building and everything. And so then when I started to write Quest, I realized suddenly that I needed a whole book that was just about Oris, and that was Life Mage Dawning. But this is still Quest. This is the direct follow-up to Life Mage Dawning. And so, yeah, I've been working on this for 20 years. It's been a while. 2d3, 6. 2b4, 1. I agree, Nix. Yeah, I mean, I'll be honest. One of the biggest existential crises I deal with in my entire existence as a human being, right, is I published Nightblade in, I want to say, 2014. Okay. Which means that I've basically been working on Underrealm, and nothing. I haven't written or published anything else significant. Call that 10 years. Okay. 10 years to get to Quest. Okay. That's, excuse me. It's 3 Nightblade books, 3 Academy Journals books, 3 Tales of the Wanderers books, Life Mage Dawning, Quest. Call that a whole evolution of Underrealm. Phase 1 of Underrealm. That's what I think of it as, right? That's phase 1 of Underrealm. I've got 3 more of those pretty well planned out. Phase 2, 3, and 4 of Underrealm. At least in the Quest books, I know what's going to happen. I know the broad beats of what's going to happen in Quest 2, 3, and 4. But for Quest 2, it's going to be 3 more Nightblade books, 3 more Academy Journals, 3 more Tales of the Wanderer, another Life Mage Dawning, the next one's going to be Life Mage Rising, and then a Quest book. So if it took me 10 years to do Phase 1, if it takes me another 10 years to do Phase 2, okay. Another 10 years for Phase 3, Another 10 years for phase 4. If it does take me that long, I'm 67 at that point. Okay. Call that age 1 of Underrealm. 4 quests, okay? Age 1 of Underrealm is 4 quests. Alright, cool. I've got 3 more ages of Underrealm planned, or ideas. I know what I want to happen in 3 more ages of Underrealm. And that's if I don't publish any more works by other people, which I desperately want to do. I do not want Underrealm to be a me-only thing. I want other people to be involved. I want to publish other people writing in Underrealm. But if you think about that, Underrealm Phase 1 is 14 books. I've got 3 more phases of Underrealm pretty well planned out. 14 times 3 is 42 more books. 56 more books. And then I have the broad strokes of 3 more ages. That's another 150 books at least. That I've got pretty good ideas of what happens. Pretty good. Not perfect. Not as detailed as this. But I've got pretty good ideas. I'm 37. I don't think all of that happens in my lifetime. Okay, Courtney, I will never keep somebody waiting 10 years for the next book, okay? To be clear, my existential crisis is not about my next book. It's about how do I fit everything I want to have happen in this world in my lifetime. That's my existential crisis. And I don't fucking know what to do about that. What do you do about that? You know, if the singularity happens and suddenly we're all in fucking computer bodies and I'm effectively immortal, great. Otherwise, and that's why it became very important to me very early on to have each trilogy of Underrealm, each volume, be a Saturday Night Blade Epic Volume 1. I want you to be happy with that story. I want you to know that it can go on, but I want you to be happy with the story that you got. And the same thing with Vol 2, Academy Journals Vol 1, Tales of the Wanderer Vol 1. When you finish Quest, I want you to know that it can go on, but I want you to be happy with the story that you got. Because at some point, Underrealm is going to outlive me. Period. No matter what. And I hope that by the time it does, that there are dozens, hundreds of people writing their own Underrealm stories. I would way rather be a Stan Lee or a George Lucas than a George R.R. Martin. You know, I want to be a Rick Riordan. I want to be this is a whole world, a whole universe with lots of mythologies and other people bringing their own cool, unique stuff, and I'm just enabling it while I'm writing my own stories as best I possibly can. But I want to create a universe that goes way beyond me. I don't even want to be a Tolkien, honestly. Because Tolkien created what was to him like a perfect work of literature. Now, not everybody agrees with that. And Lord of the Rings has lots of problems. I'm the first to admit it. But I'm the biggest Lord of the Rings fanboy that I know. It's just it's incredible. It's amazing. But he did not create a world that would go on beyond him. And he did not create a world with the intention of other people creating in that world. and other people have tried with varying success. The original Lord of the Rings movies are my favorite movies of all time. They changed the course of my life. The Hobbit movies, not so much. And then you have people coming up with the Rings of Power, which as a show I fucking love. I think the Rings of Power is amazing, transcendent, perfect television. A lot of people don't like it, and I get why. I get it. It's not super Tolkien, but it is very Tolkien. But it's not super Tolkien, but it's very Tolkien, but it isn't. And that's because he didn't build his world to be super adaptable and to have lots of voices contributing to it from the beginning that then make it more easily able to branch out, which to me is the perfect thing that Stan Lee did. The best thing Stan Lee did, the thing he was best at was, no, this world just goes on forever. I die, doesn't matter. Marvel goes on forever. And even if Marvel Comics vanished and the MCU didn't exist, people would take that world and they would run with it. And that's what I want. I don't want a perfect story, a perfect series, a perfect book series that everybody's like, no, that's the best fantasy series ever. I want the fucking nerds who are like, oh, you call yourself an Underrealm fan? Well, I don't want gatekeepers, actually. I should clarify that. I don't want gatekeepers, but I want like, oh, you're I want the enthusiastic nerds. Like oh, you're an Underrealm fan? Did you read that one series that like had like 4 books in it and then it got abandoned for these various reasons, but like that's my favorite series in the whole Underrealm. And like, yeah, the other stuff is good. Like the original work is kind of like, you know, it's got its problems, but like we all moved on from that. Like that's what I fucking want. Now I am distracted. Ugh. I wrestle with this shit all the time, man. And it's like, I want all that stuff. I want to create that world. I want to do all that stuff. I also have to just pay rent. Got 3 kids. Turns out they're real fucking expensive, you know? Gotta just live a whole ass life, apparently. Oh, Courtney, never apologize. If I talk, it's because I want to talk. Totally fair. Absolutely respect it. My kids are the fucking best, man. They're the fucking best. I love those little shits. Like, they're just... God, they're the best fucking people. Luke is fucking hilarious. Uh, and you know, if I'm really lucky, I might end up with like, you know, one of my kids ending up being sort of like a Christopher Tolkien, because I think Christopher Tolkien has done such a great job of carrying on his dad's legacy as best he possibly can, fully representing what his dad's work was and what his dad's work was all about, and then also trying to expand it because he's very careful with what he allows. What he allows, like, to be licensed and produced, and he keeps putting out more stuff and like doing his very level best to keep things going. And like, I can only hope that something like that ends up being the situation for Underworld. Pew, 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 pew. Oh, Courtney, that sounds amazing. We've got two friends in our D&D group. One named Crystal, who's just like one of my like absolute best friends in the world. Fucking love her. And she and Megan, their D&D characters ended up in a romance together, and they ended up having a wedding, which I officiated. So I've officially officiated a lesbian cat girl wedding because they were both tabaxis. So in game, I officiated the wedding, and so we always just call her Megan's wife, which the kids have started doing. They've started calling her their mom's wife and like their second mom, and then her best friend, who's also in the D&D group, Sophie. We always joke that she's Crystal's wife. So like we've got, you know, like there's Megan, who's my wife, who's, you know, famous on the stream, and then there's Megan's wife, and then there's Megan's wife's wife, and and our kids have started adopting the same terms for them, and so Crystal and Sophie are like they're godmothers. Like they both came over for Dawn's first prom and helped dress her up and do her makeup and her hair. Like they are totally that sort of like outside influence of like, okay, listen, your parents can't be as cool as we can be, so we're just gonna grab you and be really, really cool. I can legally officiate weddings. There has been some debate in our group as to whether or not Megan and Crystal are in fact legally married. Hell yeah, Ari, do it. This chapter is going to be fucking awesome. Another one that was just like a very early conception right from the beginning. We live on front porches and swing life away. He hates that bitch. He tells me every day. He says, man, I really gotta lose my chick in the worst kind of way. Pauline, so I'm like 70 to 80% done with this book, but I started feeling like it was very out of my control and like I'd lost my sense of structure and where everything was going, and I didn't know what I was writing into. I'm very much a writer who works for ending backwards. I'm like, what's the coolest ending for a book? Cool. Where does it need to start, and what needs to happen to get us there? So when I didn't feel like I knew how I was getting to my ending, I know what my ending is, but I didn't know how I was going to get there in the best, most satisfying way. So, so I decided to try. I've never done this before. This is all brand new. I've done this. Hold on, let me get my screen up. I've done this sort of outlining board before, and that's fine. It's good, but it wasn't really getting me where I needed to go. Excuse me. So what I decided to do was I work very much off. You know that I work off of the snowflake method a lot. And one thing that the snowflake method taught me, which I find very invaluable, is that the 3-act structure is actually a 4-act structure. And that the second act is generally twice as long as your first act and third act. And so what I decided to try doing was I did a level 1 outline where each of these cards represents one act of the book. Act 1, Act 2A, Act 2B, and Act 3. Okay? Noting them as each 6 episodes, 60,000 words. And then I took each act and I broke that down into 4 more index cards. And so this is 2B, which is what we're working on right now. In terms of where the book is basically done, or pretty much done, we're on episode 15. Episode 15 is already written, and we've written a little past that in some other scenes. But this is where I'm struggling. This is where I'm working, and where I don't feel like I know where I'm going. So this is episode 15, 16, 17, and 18 to the end of the second act, and then we go into Act 3, which is episode 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24. Once I'd figured that out, and immediately, once I had these 2 pieces of paper, I was like, oh, thank fuck. I kind of feel like I know where I'm going. So now I'm taking them out episode by episode. So I already broke down episode 15, which is each episode should ideally be 4 chapters, each of which is 2,500 words, 2,500 words, because we want our episodes to be about 10,000 words long. So this is episode 15, which is what we're working on. This is where we're at. This is the chapter that I was currently working and revising and rewriting, and I scrapped it and I did a whole new chapter and did a thing, and now I feel like I actually have a plan for episode 15 that's going to work. I did episode 16. Right now, we're working on episode 17. That's where we're at. Ugh. Nice. Yeah, that works too. You know, all this writing stuff is whatever works for whoever's writing the book. If it works for you, great. If it doesn't work for you, don't do it. All right. We got to think about this. Why is it important that Rogan is enraged at an ex-shade? I think that outlines the hypocrisy. I think that it points out that that the shades are like, no, we're free citizens. We're not slaves like the High King's servants. We can do whatever we want. And then the instant he finds somebody who like left that lifestyle as soon as they possibly could, his rage kind of like worries the other shades, and he can't really face that aspect of it. He can't really own up to the fact that the shades are fascists. Let's just be clear about that. They're the neo-Nazis. Which is so ironic for so many levels. Like, it's this book's gonna fuck people up. Anyway, and so when it's like, no, yeah, cool, we accept all types here and everything like that. And like nobody's coerced to be here. Everyone's here of their own free will. And so this is like the start of a mask off moment where he's like, this person fucking left, and everyone's like, is that what you're upset about? Because I thought that we were allowed to leave if we wanted to. Like, that was a big selling point. And he's like, no, of course. Yeah, absolutely. No, for sure. You can definitely leave if you want to. It's just that this one, we've got to murder her. And they're like, okay, well, see, you said a few sentences in a row which don't necessarily agree with each other. So how does this resolve? How does this chapter resolve in a way that brings us to where we need to go? I think this is like that scene in the Avengers. Fucking spoilers for the Avengers, however old that movie is. I think this is like that scene in the Avengers where Loki kills Coulson, and Coulson's dead. But then he shoots Loki with the gun, like the big gun that he doesn't even know what it does, and it blows Loki through a wall, and he's like, oh, that's what it does. And it's just that brief moment of you realizing, oh no, Loki is fully fallible. Like, he can be blown through a wall by a dude. Just a guy, just a little guy. Coulson's just a tiny fella. And he blew him through a wall. And I think this is an adaptation of that idea of, like, we've never seen Rogan crack. We've never seen him be anything other than completely self-assured, and I think this chapter is going to show us the first crack in that mask. Yeah, I like that. It's less about his idealization of the necromancer and more about his personal sense of assurance, because the necromancer isn't directly involved in this scene. Like, I find it much more interesting if Rogan sort of blames himself for losing the fight, right? It's like he is the chief lieutenant of the necromancer, not because he's stronger. He's stronger than most, but he's not the strongest. He's faster than most, but he's not the fastest. He's smarter than most, but he's not the smartest. But he is self-assured. He knows what he's doing is right. His greatest strength is his conviction, and no one is more convicted than Rogan. Rogan is 100% convicted. Like, just never doubt, never question. And not only does this scene demonstrate to him and to the reader that conviction can be a weakness, but I think the other shades see it, and Rogan sees them see it. He is so convicted that he's absolutely determined this is the right thing to do. And it's not. And the other shades don't even agree with him. And he's like, oh no. Everybody has worshipped me because of my convictions, because everything has gone right. If everything starts to go wrong, do they stop believing in me? Will they stop, like, does that mean I stop believing in me? And this is, again, he's not going to go through a whole arc in this one chapter. This is just one scene where it just starts. It's just the root that starts to dig into the rock. Hey, what's up, Lil Mossy Tree? I hope I pronounced that at least decently close to correct. Welcome to the stream. Hope you enjoy your time here. A paragraph is any collection of sentences that is preceded and followed by a double line break. Many people have many different definitions for what constitutes a paragraph. It is a mercurial writing tool. A paragraph is a collection of sentences or a single sentence which are all this is my definition of it, which are all bound by a common topic or narrative through line, you might say. It needs to be broken in certain cases. It can be continued in certain cases. Fucking paragraphs are vibes, man. Paragraphs are all just vibes. It's just a vibe. You just get a vibe and then you write a paragraph about it. That's all a paragraph really is, man. Doesn't need to be more complicated than a vibe. For a snowflake paragraph, turning your one line into a paragraph, I suggest 4 sentences, which I think he even recommends in the method. First one is your first sentence is your first act. Second and third sentences are your your second act, split into 2 parts, like I've been talking about. Fourth sentence is your third act and your finale. If necessary, you can add a 5th sentence, which is your denouement or wrap up. That's kind of the point, honestly, about the snowflake method is like, I think, I can't say this for sure, but I think that it was Mark Twain who once started a letter. He said, "I apologize for the length of this letter. I did not have time to write a shorter one," which is, whoever wrote that, whether it was Mark Twain or somebody else, what a fucking brilliant person they were. Because it is so much harder to write something concisely and well than it is to just write and write and write and write. The snowflake method, the way that it is the most brilliant is that it forces you to take an entire concept for a book and break it down into a sentence. And by the time you have done that, you have distilled so much into what is the most important aspect of your book. And that is already a huge leg up in terms of understanding the book that you're about to embark on. And then you have to do a paragraph, and then you have to do a page. But if you really, like, I've seen so many people try the snowflake method and they do their paragraph and their paragraph is like 250 words. And I'm like, no, motherfucker. You knock that shit down into 1 paragraph. You have 50 words max. You get 4, maybe 5 sentences. But like, you gotta knock that shit down. Because that's hard. But by the time you've done it, you've really gotten to the core of what your book, paragraph, chapter is all about. Which is what this whole process is, just that exact thing. just one thing. Kiss my eyes and lay me to sleep. Oh, this part is gonna fuck people up. All right, it is 1:30. I wanted to get to the end of Act 2, but I can't. Pew, 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 pew. Oh. Hey, thanks for the follow, Lil Mossy Tree. Oof. I need to go to bed. Which means it is time for the ultimate question. Who are we raiding? Oh, who's working? Who's working? We've got... You don't have many people up at this ungodly hour. Let's see what Anamare is working on. Oh, looks like mini painting. That's cool. Or maybe sculpting? Oh, we're going to raid Anamare. Boom. Dunzo. Anamare is sculpting a forest creature, turns out. Yeah, this looks really super cool. It's like a dryad ent-looking motherfucker. And it looks very good. I'm super stoked. I am going to be up and streaming in tomorrow. I do have to go into the gallery. They need my help on one quick thing, so I probably won't be able to start stream until realistically lunch or after. But I'll see you around then if you're up. Otherwise, I'll catch you whenever I catch you the next time. Thanks for hanging out, everybody. Yeah, lunchtime for the Europeans. Thanks for hanging out, Ari. Thanks for the follow, Lil Mossy Tree. Hope to see you another time. Nix, everybody else who was here, y'all rock. And I will catch you next time. Bye.
Are you guilty? I know. I don't have to be. We're getting great. So many raiders today. What the heck? VlogaNovel. I'm not sure if I am familiar with your name. Thank you so much for bringing your people over here? You heard this song before? Yeah, it is Skyrim, I think, yeah. Yeah, Skyrim. Skyrim hype. How have you been? A little raid. I saw you off Twitch recommendation. Cyber sculpting and look, it's so cool. Oh, thank you so much for choosing us for raid. To raid. So what you been streaming about? VlogaNovel. I'm curious what you are working on the next book, VlogaNovel. Ah, you're just like writing a book, or I haven't played Skyrim nearly enough to know this song, but it sounds cool as heck. I never played Skyrim, but this song is just everywhere, so I'm like familiar. I love listening some game soundtracks. Been writing on a stream for almost 10 years now. Wait, you are streaming for 10 years? How you never play Skyrim? Yeah. I never play. I played Oblivion, if that counts. I don't know, I'm like, when I'm working, I love to listening some chill